Three main reasons why I think building a personal brand is a really, really good idea right now in 2023. Number one, I found that a personal brand builds a lot more trust with your audience. Number two is tax write-offs. I'm able to write off so much more any clothes that I buy that I know I'm going to be wearing in my content, even haircuts because I'm in front of the content. These are all costs that I can write off. And then the third reason, which makes it an absolute no-brainer to start building a personal brand, is it's completely free to do so. I'll actually show you guys my exact strategy and exactly how much and where I'm going to be posting my content. I've got my whole organic strategy written out here. I'm focusing on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Threads. On YouTube, I'm just doing 1 to 2 videos per week. Instagram, I'm trying to post daily, also doing stories daily. Now, Instagram is more so almost a landing page where you want to make sure your content is very high quality. TikTok is more of a discovery platform, so I'm trying to actually post 2 times daily across 3 different accounts, and then ultimately that traffic I can now push to my Instagram and YouTube channel. And then last but not least is Twitter and Threads. Just posting quotes, trying to be consistent, and then also engaging with other accounts that are in the same space as myself. If you're not doing personal branding, highly recommend it. Stick to this. A year later, you'll be very happy you did it. Over the I spend almost $5,000 a month on rent for a 1,400 square foot Miami skyrise apartment. And while it is absolutely beautiful, a lot of people do ask me, Terrence, how do you justify spending that much money on rent for such a small space? And the reality of the situation is that's actually a really, really good price to get a unit that has a water view in the heart of Miami like this one. So there's not much you can do if you want to live in Miami, and it makes sense for me to live in Miami, and I actually get an ROI on that $5,000 that I spend on rent. Being in Miami, I am in the center of the online business space. I'm in the middle of the hub, and I've made so many good networking connections out here that have well over allowed me to make much more than the $5,000 that I pay on my monthly rent. So when I think about the costs that I take on in my life, whether it's rent or whatever the case may be, I'm always making sure that I'm going to get a return on that investment. And in this scenario, I'm definitely getting a return on my investment because of all of the people that I'm able to meet just by living in Miami. I spend almost $5,000 a month on rent.
Good, good, good. Woo! Say hi.
Ultimately, you want to have a domain for every single client. I'm not a delivery expert, but that's kind of what I've seen. So this is like the next best thing.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the High Level Spotlight Sessions, where we showcase awesome marketers doing awesome marketing. Today, I am joined by Peter Bleachars, aka Peter Michael, as most of you probably know him. He is the founder and CEO of Rosab Media, a long time, much appreciated member of the High Level community. Peter, thank you so much for coming on.
Chase, thank you so much for having me.
I mean, it's great to chat with you, man. I'm in full on vacation mode, but I definitely didn't want to postpone this interview because I feel like it's been too long in the making.
Dude, it's been crazy. We just flew back from Poland a few days ago, then got on the flight to Texas. I think been on US soil less than 24, 48 hours. So
Nice.
I'm super excited to actually get this interview going because it's been long overdue.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, we're glad to have you. So Peter, you've been an active member in the community forever. You've been a long time high level user. You guys are rocking with your agency, but you also do a lot of automation stuff, which is what we're going to talk about today. So I know you've helped a lot of people in the community with different types of automation. Today, we're going to talk about something super cool that you've been working on, which I think, how long ago was that when I asked you, hey, is this possible? And you were like, I don't know, let me go look into it. And then a couple of days later, you're like, I got it built out. I was like, no way. So what we're talking about is automating Mailgun, right? So let's preface this first, because a lot of people, set up one Mailgun sending subdomain, use it for all their clients, and that's, you can do that, right? But if you talk to any deliverability expert, they're going to tell you you want to set a separate sending subdomain for each client, which is kind of tedious and a pain in the butt, which is why I feel like most people don't do it. But you have figured out how to automate it, right?
Exactly. And like you're saying, Chase, it is so tedious to be able to do it. Ultimately, you want to have a domain for every single client. I'm not a delivery expert, but that's kind of what I've seen. So this is like the next best thing where you can do it at scale. You can onboard clients, not have to worry about it. We haven't had things breaking yet.
Nice.
But obviously there's a little bit of room for error. But if as long as you guys talk about Cloudflare and adding, the records there.
This guy went from $0 to $100,000 a month with his SMMA and then killed it. After that, he went on to build a second agency and scale it to over $1 million in revenue. All right, guys, we got Terrence Cruz, the man, the
Yes.
myth, the legend in the
Oh,
house.
What
Not,
an intro. Thank you, Joel.
not only has he built a 7-figure or 800K a year agency or
Yeah.
$800,000 in revenue,
Yeah.
but he actually took another one to over $1 million in revenue.
Yeah.
And he's going to share it all today on this interview. Terrence and I go way back. He was one of my students a few years ago when I was helping him and his business partner scale their real estate marketing agency,
Correct.
which they eventually ended up selling. And yeah, man, super excited to have you.
Yeah,
How you feeling?
I feel good. Yeah, I feel good. Really cool to catch up. Happy to be here and give a shout out to Joel Kaplan and Agency Lab. Because while I was, I was a student 3-4 years ago, but I do accredit my success a bit, a big piece of, I accredit myself at the end of the day. I did the work. I'm the one that ultimately made it happen, but you're a really big piece of why I was able to achieve the things that I've achieved. And I've invested I can say I've invested almost probably $100,000 into different consulting, into different coaching. And if there's one dude that I like out of everyone that I've invested in and actually feel that I received value from, the first place award goes to Mr. Joel Kaplan.
Dude, that means a lot.
And I mean that. Yeah. I mean,
that's cool. I didn't pay Terrence to say that, by the way. I tell people my job is to facilitate other people's success. Ultimately, whether someone is successful or not is up to them. It's not up to me. I can't show up at your house and make you do the work. So I love that you gave yourself credit, because ultimately at the end of the day, it's up to you. I'm only here to make it easier and more efficient and for it to happen faster. Yeah. But whether or not someone fails or succeeds, it's still up to them. So Terrence, let's take it. I know that that you and I worked together a few years ago, and we literally were just catching up on Instagram, and then we're like, yo, we should do an interview. But let's bring it back. So tell people your story. How did you get into SMMA? And then how did you build the real estate agency from $0 to $800,000 in revenue? Sure. And then how did you launch the TikTok ad agency? And how did you take it from $0 to $1 million in revenue?
Yeah. So I'm a college grad. I went to Lynn University. I have my bachelor's degree in marketing, believe it or not. And I went and I was working at marketing firms in Florida. I was living in Delray Beach.
Like agencies?
Larger,
like consulting, marketing consultants?
More so larger firms, a lot of cold calling going on. Didn't like it. I I actually did take one paid internship working with a med spa marketing agency. And I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I cannot wrap myself around building someone else's dream. Like I just can't bring myself to do it. So I'm a true entrepreneur, like kind of how like Gary Vee would say it. And my first post-grad real job where I had like a decent salary, I left after a month, and I was getting hit with the ads on Facebook. And man, what's his name? Sebastian.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the first program that I ever came across. This was 5 years ago. And I joined his program. And then that's when I kind of caught the bug. I was like, okay, I got to make this work. I just invested $5,000. Didn't have the best experience there, but it might be different experiences for different people. It is what it is. And I ended up, I figured I needed to get pretty good at sales. I felt it was a journey getting started, but I was just so committed to it that I was just insanely confident with myself that I was one day going to be able to accomplish something. The funny thing is like throughout the whole journey, I always thought that success was a couple weeks away. I always thought that the paycheck was like a month away. And when I look back at this whole thing in retrospect, I didn't really get any decent monthly paychecks over $10,000. It took me like 3 years to get to that point. And but a lot of it was on luck. So I had a business partner who was I found a business partner who was the salesperson and I was the back end geek. And, we were interested in investing in Agency Lab and Joel Kaplan. So that's what we did. And we were already niched in real estate, but we didn't really have the resources that we needed from the program that I was invested in before joining Agency Lab. And it was really Agency Lab and learning how to get the paid ads up that allowed us to like really be doing something. We grew the real estate business. We grew it to $20,000 months strictly off of organic. So we were, reaching out to people on Instagram. We were hopping into Facebook groups, and it was really the ads that set the agency on fire. So we went from struggling, took us 4 or 5 months just to get the agency to like $10,000, $20,000 a month. But when we hopped into Agency Lab, we quickly went from $20,000 a month to doing $100,000 months. And that was mostly accredited to the resources you had available around running.
So you guys ran paid ads. That's cool.
We hopped in and I figured out paid ads. That was the number one.
So 0 to 20K a month was organic. You guys did Instagram DMing. You guys hopped in Facebook groups. I'm sure you DM'd realtors, and then you started running Facebook ads with some of the resources that we give. And that took you guys from 20K to 100K a month.
Yeah, pretty fast. Like within like 2-3 months, within 2 months, we jumped from 20K months to $100,000 months.
Wow. How was that? Because that's also very fast, like,
well, yeah,
I'm sure it's like, I tell people you have to hit 100K a month in a way that's messy at least once, because then it teaches you how to go back, clean things up, and build things the right way. But that first time is like a shit show because you're building kind of like a Frankenstein business with all these different pieces. Like it's just not clean, right? But I'm sure that experience taught you a lot. So how was it? How was that experience of scaling so quickly?
It was the most exciting, but also like the most
stressful,
anxiety-ridden thing that I've ever gone through. That's like the best way it was like a combination of excitement and like, wow, look at how much money's in our bank account and look at our Stripe. Like the first time that we saw 6 figures on the Stripe was a really big day. but it was also extremely anxiety ridden because of how fast we scaled. We had to make sure that the systems on the back end were keeping up with what we were doing on the front end. So it was exciting, but it was that was probably my first. I felt like I was, that was where I thought that I'm onto something here. I'm achieving some real success. So we maintained that with a real estate marketing agency.
I tell people, by the way, you should hit 100K a month at least once, even if you don't want to build a huge business, because it really opens up your mind to what is possible. I think when you're at like 10, 20, 30K a month and anywhere below that, you're kind of like stuck in this very much small business mindset. And as soon as you hit 100K a month, even if it's messy, I tell everyone you should do it at least once, because it forces you to evolve from a doer to a manager. It forces you to evolve from being an employee of your own business to becoming a CEO, because there's no other way to do it. So that's cool that you guys did that. And then I know COVID hit after you guys did that.
So like
what happened there?
The thing to note though, like at that stage in my entrepreneurial journey was we, strangely, we weren't making that. We really weren't taking home much money. So even though we were doing $100,000 months, there really was not much take home. Like my business partner and I, we were getting the rent paid, but we were investing a lot into our education. Agency Lab wasn't the only investment that we were making, and we were paying the extra money, which the value was there in the inner circle. And we had also gone to a sales agency, and we spent, well over $40,000 with a sales agency to help them place trained sales reps inside of our business. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. We don't need to mention that. But it wasn't that I don't think was one of the best investments that we've ever made. But at that stage, I was like, cool. I was running a $100,000 a month agency, but I didn't really get that sense of like financial freedom, funny enough. And that can be different experiences for different people. But at that point, again, I was just investing so much because I was willing to invest and I wanted to fast track my success. And we got unlucky. COVID hit, and that threw the whole real estate market out of whack. And like, this is just part of being an entrepreneur. Like I had to kind of eat crap, like my first experience as an entrepreneur. And we were able to sell. But really more so, we had to shut that agency down. We shut that agency down, and someone bought it after COVID. During COVID, because of what happened with the real estate market, we attempted to sell it. We had someone come in, try to buy the business, and they were basically going to hold on to it and wait for the real estate market to level back out, and then kind of like take everything that we've had built and resume. And unfortunately, it didn't go in his favor, and we had to shut down the agency. And that's actually the real reality of what happened with my very first ever marketing agency.
I'm glad you're sharing that, man. I think a lot of people share the highlights and they don't share the shadows, right? The dark side of entrepreneurship. It's definitely not all rainbows and butterflies and making money. Being on a yacht and driving these Lambos, like it's tough. And I think like you actually did a phenomenal job. I want to give you a shout out because you invested into learning more quickly. So I just interviewed a billionaire inside of our mastermind, and he told me when he was around our age, actually, he had about a $5 million net worth. Then the real estate market crashed and it went to zero, and he had to go back to living on his friend's couch. He had a divorce. He lost everything. And he told me, he's like, that was a $5 million education. He's like, that was me investing into learning. And he's like, after that, I was 100% sure that was never going to happen to me ever again because I had learned. So I think like all these things are setting you up for a bigger play and to finally make the money. And I think as entrepreneurs, we tend to like see our success in these very like short-term time frames, because you're scrolling on TikTok. It's short-term time frames. Your brain is quite literally wired to expect something to happen so quickly. But like from an outsider's perspective, like you scaled quickly. Now you know what it takes. Now you know how to do it the right way. Now you know how to actually build for profit. Now you know when to invest. I also like, and there were just genuine. I don't really like the term luck, but like, when a pandemic comes through, like those things are unforeseen. So like, it was just bad timing. I got unlucky. I don't like to play victim, but like I genuinely feel in that situation that I got unlucky with what happened with COVID and what happened with the pandemic. And I wrote it off as a learning experience. And I said, you know what I mean? Like, cool, that didn't work out in my favor. I'm going to stay persistent. I'm going to bounce back from this. And I now have what it takes. If I apply this stuff in the right space, I'll be able to succeed. And I've already done it once. And I'm a big believer in like just learning by doing. So not only did I have all the education that I needed, I've done it. And I'm prepared for, starting another one of these things in a different space at a better time. So fast forward some time and I start seeing your TikTok ads. And I'm like, yo, looks like Terrence started a new agency, and you had launched a TikTok ad agency. And then you guys scaled that to over 7 figures in revenue, which is congrats. Like that's freaking amazing. How did that happen? And how did that happen? Also tell me, what did you learn in the real estate agency that then you applied to this new one? You're like, how am I going to build this even better and stronger?
No. So this was a good 2 years after working with Joel. But I will say, a lot, that stuff was still applying in what I was doing. We just crossed $1 million in revenue inside of a TikTok ad agency that I started 7 months ago. And I learned a lot too, just through building more. I did a profit share deal with a chiropractic agency. I just threw myself into situations and I took a lot of risk, and I really just learned through doing, and also having guidance from mentors and coaches like yourself. And what we, you know, so at this point, I had already done a position where I basically was a contractor and I built a whole branch off of a guy's business working with e-commerce businesses. So we were doing Facebook ads for e-commerce. And so that's when I realized e-commerce is where it's at right now. COVID's not touching e-commerce because people are home
still buying stuff,
and they're still buying stuff online, where the real estate market was out of whack. So I put 2 and 2 together. I collected a lot of data over like a three almost 4-year period, and I said the play right now is to start a TikTok ad agency working with e-commerce business owners. So that's what I did, and that was the business that hit it out of the ballpark for me. So for anyone that's watching, it doesn't happen in a year for everybody. I wasn't, and it does, right? Like there are people who it does happen for them on their very first shot. You know what I mean? They might hit it out of the ballpark on their very first business. In my experience, there was a lot more trials and tribulations.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about this before we recorded. Like for every person that like blew up, there's 1,000 that didn't. But we only see the person that blew up. So then we think, oh, this is the way that it actually works. And then we're working off of false data and we're making false assumptions. But
everything that you see, everything that you're seeing in the ads, everything that you're seeing people share, people only want to share things that they're proud of. People don't want to share things that they're ashamed of. So naturally, you're going to be completely confused in your mind because you're seeing all these good things, but you're experiencing all these negative things, and you're realizing, oh my God, this is so hard. But you have to understand that stuff is not being shared.
For sure.
You know,
to go a little deeper there, like something that I've tried to do is balance both kind of the light and the dark, the good and the bad. You know, I try to showcase, yo, Terrence hit 800K in revenue, because we need to be inspired. We need to be pulled by something bigger than us, but also we need to be prepared for the challenges and tribulations that will definitely be there when we on our way to $1 million. Like I did a video, one of my most watched videos is breaking down the average profit margins, and it's like $1 million in revenue. Most people end up taking like 240,000 and like taking home out of that $1 million in revenue, 240K. And if you have a business partner, 50-50, it's actually a lot less. So
I love those, by the way. Those are like, I saw what you're talking about on, I think on Instagram. It was one of my favorite videos that I've seen you post, because it's like refreshing. Like, you know, okay, wow, we're talking about like the reality here. Like, you know what I mean? This isn't like when someone talks about how they hit a $100,000 month, like they don't have $100,000 in the bank account
for sure.
You know, that was really refreshing when I saw that. Yeah, I liked that video a lot.
And I feel like also people only see the success, but there's so many challenges. Like I love to show this email of when I applied for jobs, like in 2018, like not even that long ago. Like in 2018, when I first started my agency, I almost quit 3 times, to the point where at one point I got so overwhelmed and I wanted to give up. I started applying for jobs. You know, thank God I got rejected, because it forced me to kind of go all in. But like every entrepreneur that everyone looks up to that's on TikTok, on ads, that you're like, oh, they got it all figured out. I promise you they don't. And then even if they do have some financial things figured out, doesn't mean they have everything figured out. Like and I was actually just, and sorry to go on this rant, I just think you hit a really important note of like showing both the good and the bad. So I just want to go deeper. Like there's this guy that I was talking to, and he told me that business, he's struggling. You know what else he told me? He's been with the same girl for 5 years and loves her so much. And he wants to marry this girl, and he's the luckiest guy in the world. So you see, like, and I have nothing against Dan Bilzerian. You see the Dan Bilzerians of the world, and maybe they have all the money, but what they don't have is the one girl that loves them for who they are, whether they're rich or not. So like, everyone in this world has some things figured out and some things not figured out. Everyone in this world is not struggling with some things and is struggling with some things, but we tend to measure ourselves only by other people's success and our lack of success in comparison to that. So anyways,
love that topic. I love that topic. Yeah. Like it was one thing that like I really always, I had to constantly remind myself of this, because like, right, it's all about sharing wins and like flexing on your IG how much money you did this month. And that's what it's all that. So I personally had to always kind of like take some steps back and just be like, but they're going through probably even worse. They're just not talking about that.
Yeah. And if maybe they're not going through a bad thing in business, but maybe they're going through a bad thing in their relationships with their family, with their health, you never know. Like, so I think it's so, this is one of the reasons I love posting content, because I get to help people. But one of the dark sides of content is that it feeds this machine of only seeing the good. It's a false perception of reality.
It's social media. That's social media for you. Yeah. Who knows if it's for the good or for the bad? I couldn't know.
Yeah, maybe we should go live on a beach somewhere. Just go surf every day.
Literally.
So you built this TikTok ad agency, crushed it. What did you do differently the second time around?
So so the number one thing that I credit my success to with the TikTok ad agency, which we've received a 2 Comma Club award for, which is my biggest accomplishment to date. I really accredit the success, not really because at this point I already have the skills. I know how to run ads. I know how to set up my internal CRMs. I know Go High Level. I know every inch of Go High Level like the back of my hand. Like I already had the skills and I wasn't succeeding. So like with the TikTok ad agency and e-com, it was just my ability to like kind of predict the future a little bit. Like I saw that TikTok was getting away from being an app for middle schoolers, and I saw that like, you know, I saw that my dad was on TikTok.
Yes.
I was seeing, okay, TikTok is becoming very widespread. There's a huge opportunity here. And I also love TikTok because Facebook, they copied the Facebook ad manager. So it was really easy to go from running Facebook ad agencies and they don't ban you as much. So to take that stuff and just apply it to a TikTok ad agency, and to also have the knowledge of, you know, I'm going to be best off in e-commerce. So doing advertisements for e-commerce, I knew that was going to be a really good place to be in. And I was able to just use common sense and look at the world. Like there's a pandemic going on. People aren't leaving their house as much, but they're still able to stay inside and they're still able to make purchases on their iPhone or on their laptop. So I saw that as a space that wasn't affected. And I basically just used, you know, intuition, and I kind of predicted the future a little bit. I took, you know, and I beat a lot of people. So like when I was doing the real estate marketing company, there were already hundreds of other real estate marketing companies. But when I started the TikTok ad agency, we were one of 5, like if that. Like I never saw other competition. Like we were like first to market. As like there might have been other people that I actually think we were the first to market with a 7-figure TikTok ad agency. I actually believe that. I wasn't seeing anyone else out there. So that was the biggest difference between that.
That's really good, man.
And the real estate marketing is first to market.
So breaking it down, first, it's almost like you're surfing and you see a wave coming. You're like patiently waiting for it, but you're able to predict it a little bit ahead of time, and then you get to ride the best wave, and then you use momentum. It's not like you're just paddling without a wave, right? You're using the momentum of the wave to push you forward, which makes it easier. And then the second thing, which I think is genius, and I'm gonna go on another little rant here because I feel like you brought up an amazing point. Like it's really like for anyone watching this, like that is pure gold. You said everyone had a real estate Facebook ad agency.
Everybody.
How can I go compete? Just still ads. There are e-com agencies out there, but there
Mhm.
aren't e-com TikTok agencies. And if there are, there's very few. So
Mhm.
many people get stuck in this. I call it the copy and paste mindset. You want to just like
Mm.
literally like, oh, Joel did chiropractor Facebook ads, let me copy and paste. But like entrepreneurship is innovation. It's creative problem
I
solving.
took a huge risk too. Like I didn't even know it was gonna work. Like,
And you can go
like,
into proven markets. Like for example, let's say you work with realtors now. Instead of offering Facebook ads, like every fucker on the planet, like for example, I was yelling at my students, offer TikTok ads because no one was doing that for local businesses. I'll give you another idea. I've given this idea out. There's so many people, and literally no one's taking me up on it. Influencer marketing has existed for e-com. Influencer marketing has existed for big brands. Influencer marketing has been proven work. No one has said, yo, let me figure out how to do influencer marketing for local businesses. So it's not that any niche is saturated. You went into e-com. You went into, or even now I'm saying, hey, go into real estate. But instead of Facebook ads like everyone else, or now the new one is TikTok ads like everyone else, it's like, why don't you think a little bit differently? And maybe offer influencer marketing for realtors, and you're in a proven niche, it's proven work, but you literally have zero competition because you thought a little bit differently.
Yeah. And like, and the thing is though, is like, it's hard
That's
to
the play. That's the game.
Here's the thing though. It's like, it took me 3 years to get to the point where I was confident enough in myself to make a decision like that. It's hard to take someone who's brand new. Like when I first got into it, I did the copy and paste, run Facebook. You know what I mean? So it was like, I think to make those good decisions
takes time.
The innovation, like that does just come with like time and experience.
Dude,
like,
all the
you know what I
biggest,
mean?
all the biggest leaps and bounds that I've ever made have come from me thinking a little bit differently. Me asking myself, how can I do this a little bit differently? For example, everyone was running Facebook ads for chiropractors. You know what I asked myself? Okay, well, all these chiropractors are having a hard time getting patients to show up. So I reached out to all my clients and I'm like, hey, who here is the best show rate? I found out the guy who has the best show rate was actually charging people for the appointment before they actually got there. So then I launched the patients that prepay and show up system, and I guaranteed a higher show rate than your current agency. That was my offer. And we literally took over. Like we rode that wave because no one else was doing it. So yeah, man, I think that's a huge golden nugget for anyone listening. Like, Terrence, I think you crushed that. What do you think are some new trends?
Ooh,
it's a hard question.
I'm right now in a phase of like, I'm waiting for something. But one thing that really excited me is Elon Musk just bought Twitter. So Twitter might be like the new TikTok a year ago. So who knows? He might make ads a lot more fun. I mean, he might make ads. Who knows? Maybe everyone gets back on Twitter and there's Twitter ad agencies. That's
great. That's a really good one. I fucking love that. You said you were like waiting, but you already had the answer.
Yeah, I need a little more.
He's like, yo, I'm waiting, but it's Twitter ads. He's like, yo, launch a Twitter agency.
I need to see. If anyone's watching this, I wouldn't do that quite yet. I need to see a little bit more.
Or maybe do it
before I would actually do it. But that is definitely sparking off.
That is actually fire.
Very exciting.
Anyone watching this, start it doesn't have to be ads, by the way. It could literally be like Twitter content management. It doesn't have to be ads. Everyone's like, I need to do ads. Why don't you do a Twitter content agency where you literally manage someone's Twitter? Like
the sale went through. So with Elon Musk and Twitter, the sale has officially.
No, it makes sense. You're seeing it. That's dope.
This happened like 4 days ago.
Anyone watching, go start a Twitter agency. That's some.
That could be it. Yeah, that could be.
That's literally a good one.
Yeah.
Because guess what's gonna happen over the next 6 to 12 months? What's gonna happen with
Twitter's gonna get popular.
Exactly. It already is happening. Everyone's like,
it's about eyeballs. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't matter the platform, it's about how many eyeballs are on it and are they excited to be on the platform or not. You know.
One of my mentors said, if you're betting, if you're going the same direction as it was a joke, but it's true. He was like, if you're going, and this was a billionaire, by the way. He said, if you're going the same direction as the government or Elon Musk, you're gonna be fine in business. He's like one of those two. He's like, you go the more conservative route or you go the more radical route, you're gonna make some money.
That's on point. I like it. Yeah, Twitter ads or Twitter content management. Yeah, great point. But I mean, there's a very high likelihood with Elon Musk buying Twitter that Twitter's going to be very popular how it was 5 years ago. There could be a lot of opportunity in that for people. I'm interested in it. I'm kind of waiting for it, and I might have to start something around Twitter if it does what I think it might do. Yeah,
that's cool, man. It doesn't even have to be. You also don't have to innovate in terms of your service. So for example, you can innovate in terms of your acquisition. So let's say that everyone's running TikTok ads to get clients, or everyone's doing TikTok content to get clients. You can be like, well, you know what? That's cool. You could even still offer Facebook ads, but get all of your clients through Twitter. You see what I'm saying? You can still innovate on other things besides just what my service is in my agency. You can innovate around how we get clients results. You can innovate around how we get clients to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, let's shift gears a little bit before we wrap up. I want to do some rapid fire. I'm gonna just rapid fire. I want like as quick as humanly possible, and I want like you got like 10, 15 seconds to answer each question. All right? Sure. If you had to scale a agency, what would be your number one way to get clients right now? New agency.
TikTok ads.
TikTok ads. Cool. Number two, if you had to run a new agency SMA, what would be your offer? Like your irresistible offer?
Is there a specific niche that I'm doing this for, or
anything that comes to mind?
My offer. Oh man, I mean, I gotta pass on that one just because I don't have enough. Like, is it?
All right, let's do it like this. If you had to start an agency for realtors again,
what would my offer be?
Yeah,
I would make an information product that teaches real estate agents how to do TikTok content.
Would you guarantee results?
Yes, and then I wouldn't, not a money back guarantee though. I would have a really strong guarantee
around views,
around something, but I wouldn't put the business because it's information. So they ultimately would have to implement that. But I would have an information product that teaches real estate agents how to go viral on TikTok.
That's fire. I love it.
Yeah,
we got some good stuff there. Who would be the first person that you hire? You're an SMA owner. You're starting out. Who do you hire first?
Who do I hire? I would hire first person. I mean, honestly, I'm my number one thing is keeping costs down. So like when I start a business, I'm probably going to the Philippines and I'm finding people to start handling those mundane tasks from day one. Number two, I'm getting a client success manager, so I don't have to be getting on the face-to-face calls with the clients. I would delegate that right away, and I would get a sales director.
So VAs
off the top of my head, off the top of my head, VAs, client success manager, sales director. For example, with the TikTok ad agency, I had myself removed from day one.
That's dope. Okay, let's keep going. You have to start a brand new agency. You have zero experience. What do you do to get your first client? How do you get your first client if you have to start all over again?
Do I have money? Am I broke or do I have money?
You have $500.
I run ads.
You run ads?
Yeah, I run ads. Simple. I run like maybe lead form ads, just to get
TikTok.
TikTok lead form ads.
And like, what would you offer? Like a free trial? Would you offer like?
I would offer. No, I wouldn't do. I would make a strong offer. I would have a guarantee, and I would charge for it. That's what I did. Like I'm all for people wanting to.
So you would run paid ads from day one.
I would run paid ads from day one. Yeah.
How do you, if you don't know how to get client results, how would you figure out how to get client results? Would you partner with someone? Would you pay someone? Would you like outsource the work once the client pays you?
I would learn how to do it, and then I'm a believer that if you want to be a business owner, if you want to be a CEO, you need to know how to do whatever it is that you're selling. So I would commit to learning how to do it through the first few clients that I bring on, and then I'm in a position where, okay, I know how to do it. I can train, I can get employees, I can train them how to do it, and then I would remove myself.
So maybe for the first few clients, you do free trials to learn, or before you even go and start an agency, you learn how to get results a little bit, spend some time doing some research.
I didn't do that. I will white label, like to go back 5 years ago with the real estate marketing company. I originally had a white label. So I was selling, and the first five clients we outsourced to a white label. I was paying attention to how they were doing it. I learned it, and then I built the team in house. So that you can do that, or yeah, you just do free trials, get testimonials, and
just to get some confidence.
And learn, get some social proof there.
Once if you don't have a white label agency, and like so learn it by yourself, and then once you do, you run TikTok ads with a strong guarantee, strong offer, and charge for it.
Yes.
All right. Last question. What is your favorite hack that you could share? Like something that you could really like some good sauce that you could share with us today. Maybe it's like a sales hack. Maybe it's a prospecting hack. Maybe it's like
no. If I could really give you guys one hack, it's invest $2,000 into a nice Sony professional camera. Really, it's gone really far away with me. One of my pet peeves is people in 2022 like filming their ads on their iPhone and like just having trash content, not trash, but not having quality content, whether it's in their ads or whether it's on their social profiles. I think one of the best investments that someone can make is buying a $2,000 professional grade camera with interchangeable lenses and actually getting more into the world of photography and video editing and film. Because I found that when I record ads professionally compared to when I shoot an ad on my iPhone, those leads are a lot easier to convert into deals. So if the ad that they saw, if the ad that they saw was a professional grade 4K, well put together, well edited, professional camera video compared to you talking on your iPhone, right? I've found that really is impactful on the sales call. It really goes a far way on the sales call, and they just trust you a lot more. They're much more likely to invest if that was their first impression. Your content is the first impression that someone gets of you. And if you're doing social media, if you're doing online business, make the investment, get a good camera. That's my number one hack. You'll thank me later. Yeah.
That's dope. I've never heard that one, so that's really cool. I really like that, and it makes sense. It's like one of the biggest things I've been teaching my students lately is getting clients through content, because that's just such an easy way to do it nowadays. Like before, when you first started, you guys scaled to 20 came out with IG DMs and Facebook DMs. But like imagine if you DM someone on Instagram and they go back to your profile and they see that you're really legit. You have your
like well put together content. Like it goes such a far way.
I love that. I've never said that, so that's great. I'm happy my audience is hearing that piece of advice. Cool. For anyone that's on the fence of joining Agency Lab, final question: what would you say to them? Or actually, second last question.
So, okay, my answer on that is I said it earlier in this video. I've invested over $100,000 in different forms of online e-learning education. If I could only pick one of the programs that I ever bought, I would pick Agency Lab. So definitely would say jump in.
That's cool, man. By the way, for anyone watching, we have a few different programs. If you haven't even started your agency and you're like, should I start an agency? We will help you get your first 5 clients guaranteed. And if you have an SMMA, you have an agency and you're looking to scale, we can also help you get your another 5 clients guaranteed to make your money back on the investment. And we also do
the master of offer creation, hitting you with an offer, but do it.
It's just an easy one. We love to, essentially the idea is if you get 5 clients, you make your money back. So that was like the best no-brainer offer, and I love it. It's like easy, and I can get it. And like literally, we've gotten, if you don't get 5 clients in our program, you did something wrong, like, or you just didn't go through it at all. So we really like that offer. And then if you have a bigger agency, maybe you're doing 30K, 40K, 50K, or even 100K, 200K a month, and you want to work with me one-on-one, there's also a link below this video that you can check out and schedule a call to learn more about that. So with that in mind, last question, and then after that, tell people where they can find you. But last question: any words of wisdom that you want to share with anyone watching this video?
Man, words of wisdom. I would say, you never lose if you never quit. So things can be hard. I personally have a journey that. It's been a journey. I didn't hit it out of the ballpark on my first business. For anyone that's maybe in a period where they're struggling, they're having a hard time, you never fail if you never quit. So just keep going. And that's the truth. And you will eventually strike gold one day. So just keep cracking at it. Stay persistent. If I could give one thing to your audience, I would hit them with that.
Cool. Love it, man. Where can people find you?
Instagram @Terrence Cruz. So just my name, TERRENCE KRUSE. I would love, follow me on Instagram. I have tons of free value reels on my IG. So I definitely recommend you guys checking out the IG. Super, super valuable stuff. Not asking for $1. So check it out. And Joel, thank you for having me, man. This was really cool.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, man. All right, guys. Peace out.
Hello? Did you solve the live stream? Did you solve the live stream? You nice. Nice. I knew it, you could do it. I knew it. I'm so proud of you. There's some mistakes you made in terms of like the email and everything, but it's totally fine. Make mistake, do it. We don't do SEOs. And also you made a mistake of like not putting like a no in the email. Like they don't want to be contacted because otherwise it goes into spam. But it's totally fine if you make mistakes. It's fine. It's fine. Look, you did amazing work. I truly, yeah, it's awesome. But I do want you to like look at the versatile agency. Basically, we do what versatile agency does. That's the best way you can. Or Mason Chase. Those are the two guys that you, because they're at a level where you can copy them. We don't do SEOs. We only do Facebook ads. It's fine if you put it in. There's no problem with it. Keep doing what you're doing. Yep, I can see it. It's working. Keep doing it. Just minimize the call and just do what you're doing. Yeah, I said to minimize the call, not cut the call. It's fine, it's fine. But I do want to like let you know something. I don't think we'll be using Go High Level because it's just like it's not gonna make us money. I'm pretty sure like do you think we'll get a client within the next 5 days? I know the answer, but do you think we will get a client within the next 4 days? Good, that's a good answer. There's like a 10 to 30% chance of getting it. There's a 70 to 90% chance we won't get it. But the question then becomes, how do we solve this? So what happens is that we don't want to use Go High Level. Facebook Marketplace, Meta Business Suite, they have everything. It's free. We basically need to use that because what I've seen you do is that you are keeping track of every ID differently. You get it? So you need to figure out a way of free system. Always use free system. Facebook Meta Business, go to your task list and write it anywhere so you remember them. And you can like give admin access to you want to like centralize everything, and you don't want to use Go High Level until we are break even. So Go High Level is going to cost us around like $500, I'm guessing. So until we cross that threshold, we're not going to even think about Go High Level. I mean, like, within the next 3 days, push really hard on using Go High Level. I'm pretty sure we're going to use it in the future. But also keep in mind, put on the task list and put it way below that, once the Go High Level trial ends, you need to centralize everything and you need to use free system. So write it on task after Go High Level trial ends. Mhm. So probably get something like okay, Facebook Meta Business, right? Something like that. After that, write something like okay, connect Nazmeen, Shaihan, whatever we have, Likhas. I know, I know. Give it, Shaihan. Come on, we like the money is just going too fast right now. We need to slow spending. You know, I don't mind spending, but we need to see results. Then we can, push it hard. I know how good Go High Level is. You think I don't know? I know how good Go High Level is. It's just right now the main focus. Sorry. Okay, fine. You get it. You get my point, right? So push really hard for the next couple of days to really get a client. If you can't, then it's totally fine. We'll shift our focus maybe differently. Okay. Do you need anything in terms of advice? Because you're already doing a good job. So, any advice or anything you want to talk about? Any way I can help you? Only, do you remember what is the main focus for the next 4 days in terms of like, or what is the do you remember that conversation? What they say, like the main thing, you'll focus on many things, but you only need to focus on what? Yes, setting appointments, and that's it. You don't need to focus on anything else. So good luck.